You're jumping into CKCU programming through our audio archive, supported by you, the listener.
CKCU FM 93.1 in stereo. The future wave of radio.
Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. Got my bag, got my reservation. Spent each dime I could afford, like a child in wild anticipation. Long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gotta take that sentimental journey, sentimental journey home, sentimental journey.
Yeah, so it's hot in here. It's hot in here.
And VH3 would say, well, it's because it's who we are.
Tones, Riffs, and Notes, 93.1 FM, CKCU here in Ottawa. I'm your host, Greg Lightfoot, and John, you are here.
I am going to accompany you for this intro.
So what happened this week in your life? What went on?
I got to chat with a medical doctor who teaches anatomy, and that was really interesting.
And what did you talk about?
The heart.
That's cool.
And how he teaches medical students to learn about how the heart works and all the different aspects of it and why it's built the way it is. And that was really interesting.
Kind of an important thing to know about.
I would imagine. And how he was saying how even now in the present day, it's quite rare that, you're trying to find some images and video of inside the heart and students learning about the valves and the pumping and all that sort of thing, and how it's very rare for them to see. So that was cool. How about you? How was your week?
It was busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 jobs, so work and more work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a busy week, but Monday comes, and I'm just like, I can't wait for it to be Friday, and then all of a sudden it's like Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Absolutely, I know that feeling.
So yeah. A lot happened this past week. Former President George
Herbert Walker Bush. Yeah.
Died. He died last weekend, I believe it was.
That's right. Not gonna do it.
Yeah. So, just because of that, I put a little something together. And, so here's a thought.
Behind me stands one of the most visited places on earth, a symbol of American courage and ingenuity. And before me stand those on whose shoulders this legacy was built, the men and women of the United States Astronaut Corps. And we are very proud.
Count and go for launch. OTC. Orbiters are go. TTC. TTC go. TTC. IUS is go. LPS. LPS is go. Houston flight. Houston flight is go. Miles. Miles go. STM. STM go. Safety console. Safety's go. SPE. SPE go. CDR. Discovery is go. Copy that. LRD. LRD's go. And SRO.
And we are very proud.
You have final plan to launch. Copy.
Well, on September 2nd, 1944, my torpedo bomber and I took off from the USS San Jacinto. We were part of Task Force 58. The very next day, we were to move south under Halsey's fleet to be part of Task Force 38. And so I knew that after this mission, our ship would head south, a couple of thousand miles away. Any event, it was a clear day. Best of my memory, I was just turned 20, and I knew it was going to be a fairly dangerous mission because the day before, our air group, our squadron, VT-51, had flown over Chichijima, and we'd encountered a fair amount of flak. So I knew it was going to be tough, but this was our duty. There was no question about it.
This year's.
You take a sound, any sound, record it, and then change its nature by a multiplicity of operations. You record it at different speeds, you play it backwards, you add it to itself over and over again. You adjust filters, echoes, acoustic qualities, you combine segments of magnetic tape. By these means and many others, you can create sounds which no one has ever heard before.
All right, man. Tones, riffs, and notes. 93.1 FM. John, what do you think?
What was that? I recognize. Was that Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
That was... It's funny. It's one of those Hollywood movies that... sports movies. That people love baseball movies. You know, Bull Durham. And that's great. That's great. I love it.
Me too. Let's go. I'm not used to having this mic on the left. Like I doing radio for, various periods, well, for the last year plus.
Yeah.
I'm used to that microphone being like directly in front of me, and it's on the left side here, and I never have the awareness to really like move it and flip it around to the other side. So often I'll lean in and I'll listen back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm too close to the mic.
It's especially these ones. I find VH3 has a very, how would I put it delicately, very obvious radio presence, and always adjusting the sliders. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
You know what? I want to pull up an email. Next week, on next week's show, I wanted, for one reason or another, I had a thought this past week, and I said, it'd be cool to have a student or someone come on that's knowledgeable about women and gender studies. And I actually thought of that. I actually did think of that. And there's nothing else that inspired me. And I was sitting at a coffee shop, and I'm like, you know what? I want to talk to a woman. Like, I want to talk to a female on the radio and have them like share their thoughts and like express their opinions and be like that. And so the first thing that came to mind was, well, I'm sure this department will have bright people that are motivated in that way that'll do it.
Yeah.
And so,
So you wrote somebody.
I called.
Oh, you
I
called?
phoned. Yeah, like
so 1990s.
This mic right here. 1 sec. I phoned, and yeah, and I called the department, and I got I got a really nice person here at Carleton.
Okay.
I got a really nice person on the phone, and I explained it to them. I just said, yeah, I wonder if someone from the department or a student or other would like to come on the radio and like be on the radio and talk about women and gender studies and so on and so forth. And she was really receptive of it. So she said, yeah, I'm sure someone will do it. And I said, well, listen, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you can always do a pre-record.
Well, I
phone in.
I don't like the sound of a pre-record. It's not the same for me, and I use little like jibs in my speech and throw in some ahs and ums every once in a while that may work all right in a live interview, but in a recorded thing, it's not cool.
It's different.
Yeah, you got to edit all that stuff out and
yeah.
I mean, when I focus on it, I can get rid of it, but for the most part, like, I try to do this very casually, so it just kind of rings through. But back to the story.
Email, yes, the email.
So she said, yeah, send me an email and just, outline what you had said to me, and I'll forward it on to wherever she said. And so I did, like, within 15, 20 minutes, and I already had a response. And so there's going to be a person that's going to come on here next week. I'm going to pull up their email, and they're writing a thesis on something about something very, very interesting that I'm going to share. So what I'll do is I'll start the show with more music, and then we'll come back and I'll read to you the email.